When Kemi Badenoch launched her Tory leadership bid under the banner of Renewal 2030, most of us assumed she meant the party. Increasingly, it simply meant herself. The Conservatives may be on life support, polling in single digits, but Badenoch is on a personal mission, one built on announcements that rarely announce anything, commissions that resemble deferrals, and the confident repurposing of right-wing American playbooks for a crumbling British audience. Her latest act of political taxidermy, claiming the abandoned trophy of ECHR bashing from Robert Jenrick, neutering him in the process and turning her fire on lawfare, that is, people inconveniently using the law to stop the government from behaving unlawfully. Let's not underestimate what just happened. The moment Badenoch declared she was increasingly of the view that Britain must leave the European Convention on Human Rights, she pulled the pin from a grenade Jenrick had been trying to detonate for months. His thunder, and indeed his entire brand as the rights legal warrior, was simply lifted. Her new Lawfare Commission is not so much a policy initiative as a masterclass in stalling. Chaired by Lord Wolfson, who is ironically sceptical of leaving the ECHR, it appears to have one function: to give the impression of radicalism while delaying the consequences of actual decision-making. In doing so, she renders Jenrick irrelevant, but she also betrays her own dilemma. She's inherited the rhetoric of Brexit and sovereignty, but not the political coalition or the confidence to enact it. So where does she look next? To Donald Jessica Trump at precisely the moment he is driving the United States to the cliff edge of terminal descent. You can see the emerging echoes: the war on activist judges, the indignation about foreign criminals jumping the queue, the appeal to mythical veterans' justice, and the self-congratulatory claim that the Tories are the only bulwark against chaos while presiding over a party that is in chaos. Like Trump, Badenoch has learned the art of branding without burden, taking back control for real, fairness for British citizens, the prosperity test. It's politics by slogan with a PowerPoint soul, and like Trump, she's discovered that pretending to fight the system is far easier than actually confronting it. And this brings us to the central irony of her crusade. The very people who promised to take back control in 2016 now find themselves furious that they still don't have it, as if Strasbourg was secretly running the NHS or setting interest rates in Britain. In truth, the ECHR has rarely blocked deportations in the way Badenoch implies. More often, it's the British courts or plain Home Office incompetence. The example of a paedophile pretending to be gay to avoid deportation is grotesque, but cherry-picked. And even if it were true, it would likely be a failure of due process, not of human rights. Yet this is not about law, it's about creating enemies: lawyers, immigrants, judges, and hinting that they are the reason the country feels ungovernable. Badenoch would like to see herself as the heir to Margaret Thatcher, but Thatcher made enemies and then defeated them. Badenoch makes enemies but commissions a report on whether to confront them in October. And while Thatcher took on the trade unions, Badenoch's bête noire is the abstract concept of lawfare, a term so nebulous it could mean anything from judicial review to a parking ticket. She may speak of courage, but her political strategy is entirely defensive and devoid of meaning, defending her right flank from Reform UK, defending her party's nationalist nostalgia, defending herself from having to pick a side in the war she's just declared. But there's one problem with eternal renewal. Elections come round sooner than 2030. The recent Scottish by-election saw Reform outperform the Tories 4-1. Zia Yousaf's departure from Reform reveals that they are in internal disarray, yes, but it also strips away Badenoch's main excuse. She can no longer dismiss Reform as a ragtag band of political fantasists. They're eating her party's support, and in some seats her MPs, and now they're eating themselves. Her response: to say she's getting better every week and not to judge her on day one. But voters are not on her renewal timeline. If they feel ignored, insulted, or worse, indistinguishable from the illegal others she keeps referencing, they may not wait politely for her to get good. Badenoch's problem is not that she's borrowing from Trump, It's that she's borrowing from late-stage Trump, erratic, legally encumbered, ideologically exhausted. She might just as well dip a banana in butter and stuff it in the Smeg fridge and say, "Hello, that's for you, Putin." If this is the model for renewal, it will not end with triumph, but with detachment from law, from facts, from voters, and finally from power. Because in the end, a party that talks about taking back control, whether that's the cucumber, the carrot, or her mind, and cannot control its own message, policies, or polling, is a party that has already lost.